My name is Nikolaos Vasiliadis. Actually, it was a very nice try from Malek to pronounce my name. I am Greek, Yunan. That's why it's Greek to you, my name. And we will talk together about the role of artificial intelligence in GRC. It's a broad subject, and we will try to cover the most important information about GRC and artificial intelligence. It's not a course for AI, it's not a course for GRC. If you need such a course, ISACA provides too many of them. Intelligence. What kind of intelligence we need in GRC, and why do we need any kind of intelligence? And then we will switch to AI, and we will discuss AI as a tool, as a risk, and we will also discuss some controls that we need to apply when we use AI in GRC or in our organization in general. Let's start with our first point in our agenda. And because I don't want to talk too much, scan this QR code, please, and give me 3 words that you believe are related to GRC. Just 3 words, whatever comes to your mind when you hear the term GRC. It's not a context, it's not an exercise, don't worry. Cybersecurity. Company management, assurance, governance, assessments, protection, safety, I don't know what does it mean, compliance, controls, risk assessment, maturity, company management, safe decision making, I like this one, risk assessment, a lot of things, frameworks. Security, follow. Okay, thank you very much. Let me give you my own perception now. Let's look at the mirror. This is our organization. Any organization in the planet, public, private, profit, non-profit, charity, everything. Everything starts as a vision. Every organization starts with a vision. What is a vision? Vision 2030. Vision is a picture from the future. It describes how do we imagine ourselves, our company, our organization, our family in 5, 10, 20 years, months from now. This is a vision. But vision means that you are in the middle of the desert and you see the mountain far away from you. You know the direction that you have to follow to go to the mountain, but you cannot calculate the distance. It's very vague. So what you need to do is you need to set objectives. You need to break down the vision into achievable milestones. So you have to go through these milestones to reach the vision. My vision, for example, could be to stay active and healthy in the age of 85, which comes closer and closer to me, actually, but anyway. But what does active and healthy mean? I could probably set an objective to not have a serious disease until the age of 85, or to not have a serious accident until the age of 85. This is to achieve the healthy part of the vision. But let's forget our personal vision now and let's go to an organization. Suppose that we are a bank and our vision is to become the point of reference in digital banking. in 5 years from now? Vision always has verbs like I am, I become, things like that. So this is my vision, to be the point of reference in digital banking. I need objectives. What is an objective? I could probably set an objective to digitally transform the bank. So digital transformation could be an objective aligned with this vision. And I am the management. I have in my right hand the vision, in my left hand the objective, and I go inside the bank. And I go first to the IT department. I go to every department, actually, but first I will go to IT. So what does IT need to do in order to support the vision? They need to set goals, departmental goals. And these goals need to be aligned with my business objectives and my vision. A goal, for example, could be cybersecurity. How can you go with digital transformation without cybersecurity? And now we have a clear goal, cybersecurity. How we will achieve this goal? By starting initiatives. What is an initiative? An initiative is a set of projects, a set of services and products that we run, we offer, we use in order to achieve the goal. And how these projects, services, and products are completed? Through tasks. People need to perform tasks, something with a deadline, to make sure that the project will run, the service will be provided, the product will be used. And tasks need assets, everything that has a value, and we need it to do our job. The most important part of this infographic is this connection here. Every task, every asset, every project needs to be aligned with my goals, my objectives, my vision. Alignment is everywhere. Which means that when I go back home, every one of us, I ask myself, how did I contribute to my organization's vision today? If I cannot answer this question, 3 things may happen. The first one is we don't have any vision. The second one is we have a vision, but it is not communicated, so I don't know. And the third one means that we have a vision, the vision is communicated, but this connection here is broken. And how can I realize that this connection is broken? Very easily. Do you know cases where a project is started in the organization, and before it is finished, you realize that you don't need the project, so you stop it? Do you know cases where you buy products, you pay 6 or 7 figure costs, and then you realize that you only need 10% of this product or 20% of this product, not all of it? These are symptoms showing that this connection is broken. What do we need to keep this connection intact? What do we need? Give me one word. Integration. Part of it. Governance. We need governance. So governance is about alignment. British say that governance means I do the right thing. If you attend ISACA courses, you will hear about it a lot of times. So this part of the infographic is the performance part of the organization. Everything we do to achieve our objectives, to reach our vision. But I have news for you. we are not free to do whatever we like to achieve our vision. Why? Because there are circumstances, there are events, there are situations, uncertain situations that may affect the achievement of our objectives. And how these situation, uncertain events affect the achievement of our objectives? By threatening our assets and our tasks. I'm talking about risks. So we have risks, and we need to do something with risks. And what can we do with risks? We apply controls. What is a control? A safeguard. It's something that I do to manage a risk. For example, remember, 4 years ago, what was the risk? It started with C. COVID-19. What was the control? What we did? It starts with W. Working from home. So we apply this control, working from home, to manage the risk of COVID-19, which was threatening people. People is the most important asset we have. And when we apply this control, we were protecting our assets, but at the same time, we set constraints to the way we perform our tasks. Because when we were at home, we could not meet face-to-face. 4 years ago, this event would take place over Zoom, most probably, or WebEx. Now we are here. So controls protect the assets, but at the same time, tasks need to obey the controls. And where can we find these controls? Do we have to invent the controls? Reinvent the wheel? No. Fortunately, we are not the only organization in the planet who face these risks. There are others. So we have frameworks, standards, laws, regulations, including requirements which are nothing more than suggested controls. So our job is to adopt the frameworks, to discover the frameworks that are useful for us, for our organization, for our objective, for our vision. And after we adopt them, we adapt them. Because we need to see how much is the distance between our controls and the framework requirements. We calculate this gap, doing this gap assessment. And we adapt either the framework to the organization or part of the organization to the framework. So this part of the infographic is conformance part. Conformance is about risk and compliance. So the whole picture is governance, risk, and compliance. This is what we do. The key word, I don't know if you add it there, the key word is alignment. Alignment is governance, risk, and compliance. So now we defined what GRC is about. Let me give you a more practical description. This is your organization. Again, we look at the mirror. This is your hierarchy, the pyramid. On top, you have the top management, your board of directors, your executives. And what you have is a highway connecting the top with the bottom. And this highway has 2 lanes. One lane is used to transfer commands. And the other lane is used to transfer information. So when you issue a policy you actually use the left lane. You send commands from the top to the bottom. When you have a report or a dashboard, you send information from bottom to the top. This highway is actually your management system. So the highway is aligned with the direction provided by governance, and it follows this direction using commands and information. Every artifact that we create in our management system is using this highway. So this is, in a nutshell, how we define GRC. And let's talk about intelligence now. A lot of GRC. Alignment, governance, risk. Where is the role of intelligence in all this? First of all, what is intelligence about? Everything starts with data. What is data? A fact. Something that nobody can deny. Today I didn't have any breakfast in the morning. Is this useful information for you? I don't think so. So, in order to extract information, we need contextual data. Data related to our organization, to our service, to our offering, to our process. So, data inside the context are information. But information is not enough. Why? Because I need knowledge. And knowledge is produced when I correlate information together, when I combine information together. And when this knowledge can be used to predict, I have wisdom. Whenever I take a business decision, I actually predict the future. If I decide to invest in IT, I make a prediction. When I try to not invest somewhere, I make another prediction. So this schema here is at the core of intelligence. And the point is that as I go from data to wisdom, the risk of my decision is lower. Imagine all this with the ability to combine data and information, produce knowledge on a continuous basis, using thousands of input variables, using thousands of inputs from all over the organization. This is intelligence about. And now the question is simple. Where do I need intelligence in GRC? You talk us about GRC. You said alignment. So where do we need intelligence in all this? Governance activities, performance monitoring and reporting. Is it part of GRC? Yes. Do we need intelligence? Yes. Policy management? Sure. Stakeholder communication? Yes. Resource allocation? Of course. Risk management activities? The whole cycle. Risk identification and assessment. Risk monitoring and reporting. Scenario analysis and forecasting. If we don't need intelligence for forecasting, where should we? Incident and issue management. You know that today we have incident management tools that work almost alone. Compliance activities, regulatory monitoring, audit management, training effectiveness analysis, data privacy. All these are activities included in GRC which need intelligence. reputational risk management, sentiment analysis, crisis management, strategic GRC activities like market and competitor analysis, strategic decision support. So almost everything included in GRC needs, one way or the other, a kind of intelligence, physical or artificial. But now we're talking about artificial. So let's go to examine artificial intelligence now. And before we start, allow me to ask you, what do you use artificial intelligence for? Give me 3 words again. Search engine, effective risk mitigation, automation, productivity, programming. Do maths, I like this one. Analysis, work, risk, facilitate work, supporting, business decisions. Search engine, smart, work at the center. So you do use artificial intelligence. It's very, very useful. What do we mean by artificial intelligence? What do we have now, which are the core features, the core, let's say, parts of artificial intelligence, the core offerings? Before we examine that, let me tell you something else. Every process we run in our organization has a set of activities. Activities are divided into huge categories: algorithmic activities and heuristic activities. Algorithmic activities can be represented as an if-then-else flow. For example, to start your engine in the morning, you enter to your car, you press the brake pedal or the clutch, depending on what kind of car you have, and you switch on the engine. And the car starts, the engine starts. This is algorithmic. If you don't press the pedal, the engine will not start. If you don't switch, the engine will not start. When you start driving your car, do you follow a set of if-then-else commands? If you do, tell me where you drive your car in order to avoid these roads. So the answer is no, because when you drive your car, you use your judgment. You take decisions. We are here 20, 30 people. If we face the same situation in the road, each one of us will react in a different way. So these are heuristic activities. What artificial intelligence offers is something in between. I call it pseudo-heuristic activities. Human judgment is not used by the machine, it is simulated by the machine. So the machine has a huge list of various cases and the corresponding human decision or reaction. Very quickly, it matches the current situation with this database, and using some brilliant algorithms, it chooses the right one. Sometimes it is correct, sometimes it is not correct. So, according to what we already said about GRC and about this distinguish between activities, GRC activities, most of them are algorithmic, heuristic, or can be pseudo-heuristic. Give me your answer. Can be pseudo-heuristic. Can be pseudo-heuristic. Are heuristic. Are algorithmic. Can be pseudo-heuristic. Yes. 13. Heuristic. I believe we have a winner. So we just proved, you proved, that artificial intelligence has a role to play in GRC, because it's all about collecting the right data, extract information, correlate information using thousands of input variables, and take a decision. This is everywhere in GRC. So, thank you for your input. This is what we have right now in artificial intelligence, and a lot more things, but these are the core offerings. Machine learning. We have machines that learn with data. We feed the machine with data, and the machine learns what to do. Natural language processing, computer vision, speech recognition, and any kind of robots. So all these can be applied in GRC. All of them. Imagine, for example, the computer vision which can recognize the person who enters to the building and combines the face of the person with, let's say, a sentiment analysis algorithm and decides if this person needs to be blocked or not. So we talk about security, about safety. All these can be used in GRC. So we're very happy. Do we have risks? Do we have risks if we apply artificial intelligence in GRC? What do you think? Give me some risks. What can go wrong? What can cause a problem in our objectives, vision, etc. From what you know, from what you face, from what you read? What are the risks related to application of artificial intelligence in GRC? Wrong decisions. Yes, of course, this is the ultimate problem. Wrong information. I like this one. Religion has to do with culture, things that we cannot explain to the machine. Identity theft, very nice, ethical. Privacy, I like privacy in the center. High dependency, again, we depend on the machine and we will depend more in the future. Data quality, very important. High dependency, misuse, security of data, culture, humanity, I like this one. Sharing data, hallucination. These are risks that we indeed may face in the use of AI in GRC. Let's examine them in a more structured way. So what kind of risks do we have? Governance risks, management risks, compliance risks, reputational risks, strategic risks. What do we mean by governance risks? Lack of transparency. Why do we need transparency in GRC? What GRC has to do with transparency? What is transparency about? Why do we need transparency? You don't remember, not all of you, I see some of you probably they remember, the Enron case. What was about Enron? A United States company in the oil sector. They reported billions of profits, and actually they had billions of losses. What was the outcome of the Enron case back in 2001? If I tell you the name, I'm sure everybody knows it. Sarbanes-Oxley legislation, SOX. Sarbanes-Oxley started as a reaction to the Enron case, which was about lack of transparency. Transparency builds trust, and trust builds economy. So lack of transparency is a risk. Why? For technical reasons, because the AI model does not reveal the way it works. It's very difficult to add an audit hook in an AI model. What is an audit hook? An audit hook is a way to see what's happening inside the machine. Your ERP system, for example, has an audit hook. It exports a log file, and you can see transactions. If you increase the debug level, you can see more details. You cannot do it in an AI system easily, because it's very complicated. Not even the creator of the AI system is able to see in detail what exactly they do. So we have lack of transparency. Ethical violations, you already mentioned it. Accountability gaps. Do we need accountability in GRC? What is accountability? Accountability is about ownership. We need to have someone to blame if something goes wrong. If the system is doing things alone, we don't have someone to blame. The decision belongs to the system. The system is not a person. Regulatory non-compliance, yes. Bias in decision-making. If we feed wrong data when we teach the system will decide, will take biased decisions. Insufficient oversight, nobody can do that. Misalignment with goals. Everything is about feeding the wrong data to the system and the lack of transparency. Let's see the management risks. Data privacy and security, you already mentioned it. Inaccurate predictions, operational disruptions, okay, this is continuity everywhere. Cybersecurity vulnerabilities, don't forget that anything we create in IT, any tool that is for good, can be used also against us. So the bad guys are there to violate, to compromise the security of our system. And wrong decisions and all these things may happen later. Overfitting, underfitting, this is a technical term, but I would like very much to give you an idea. Overfitting means that I force the system to be appropriate for a limited set of cases. So I have my organization, 100 cases, and I perfectly fit the model to these 100 cases. But the result is that it cannot correctly predict the 101 case. So this is overfitting. Underfitting is the opposite. I give only 5 cases and I try to predict 200. Rapid evolution of AI, yes, this is a risk because we have new versions of models. If we don't have a sound governance, IT governance, we will face a problem here. And risks that emerge all the time, we cannot predict them. Compliance risks, non-adherence to regulations. We don't know the regulations. We don't know if regulations exist. Lack of standardization, this is every time a problem in IT generally. Intellectual property and licensing violation, data protection, inadequate documentation, how can you document an algorithm which works by itself, accessibility standards, non-compliance, reputational risks, public backlash, trust erosion, negative media attention. These are, I'm going a little bit fast because time is going also fast. AI ethics breach, market risks, cost overruns, all these are risks we face when we use AI in GRC. And what can we do about it? Is there any guidance? Is there any, let's say, set of controls? You told us before that we apply controls to manage risks. So where can we find controls for AI? Fortunately, we have standards. 3 of them are in front of you. Let's start with international standards first. ISO 38507, governance implications of the use of artificial intelligence by organization. Pretty old, 2022. ISO 22989, artificial intelligence concepts and terminology. This is very informative, by the way. And the last one, issued in 2023, artificial intelligence management system. as we have information security management system, as we have quality management system, we also have artificial intelligence management system. This is very useful. This is a certifiable standard. You can get a certificate if you use AI that you have a complete artificial intelligence management system. Our guidelines here, SEDAIA, AI Ethics Principles, September 2023, Generative Artificial Intelligence Guidelines for Government for Public, January 2024, brand new, actually. Let's focus on these two, the adoption framework and the 42001, the AI management system. I will start with principles. September 2023, remember. Fairness. The artificial intelligence system must be fair. It must be fed with the right data, representative data, appropriate data, in order to take the right decision. I don't want bias. The first principle. Privacy and security. The system needs to respect people's privacy, respect security principles, humanity, social environmental benefits, reliability and safety, transparency, accountability. This document can be downloaded by SEDAIA website and you can find details about all this. These are the 7 principles that, guess what? They are followed by ISO 42001. So, what are the controls here? Policies. Don't tell me that you would not expect policy. We always start with policy. Internal organization, roles and responsibilities. Resources for AI systems. What kind of resource I use? IT resources, people resources, whatever kind of resource. Impact of AI system and impact analysis. AI system life cycle, how do I develop it and monitor and decommission the system? Data for AI systems, information for interested parties, stakeholders, use of it, and third-party and customer relationships. So, policies. We need to have the policy. The policy needs to be aligned with other organizational policies. And of course, we need to review the policy. Remember what the risk was before. The AI evolution is very fast. So we need to follow this evolution by reviewing our policies. Internal organization, yes, we need to have specific roles and responsibilities. People accountable for the AI system, and we need to have a way to report our concerns. Whistleblowing. We need to have a mechanism, and this mechanism can be used by everyone to report problems anonymously, to protect identity of people. Resources, documentation, data resources, tools, systems, human resources. What kind of resource I have? How do I feed my system? Who is responsible for the system? Assessing impacts, and this is similar to risk assessment. So, system impact assessment process, documentation of impact, assessing AI system impact in individuals and society. By the way, there is another document about society and impact to society. Management guidance for AI system development, life cycle. Let's go fast. Data for development and enhancement of IT system. This is very important. The risk is there. If I feed the system with wrong data, I will not get the right result. Acquisition of data. This is where the hackers will hit in the future. They will infect our data. They will inject malicious data to our systems and make the AI system take wrong decisions. Quality of data, data provenance, data preparation, and this is additional requirements that the standard has for interested parties and the use of systems. So this is a complete ISO standard with a full set of controls that can protect us from the use of AI. And as we already proved that AI is very useful and in a few months, not years, year is very long time, will be important for GRC, I will ask you, would you consider this for certification? Yes or no? What do you think? From this high-level description that I gave to you, would you find useful to certify your organization against ISO 42001? Sorry?
Another question.
Are you sure? Ah, okay. Something is wrong then. Probably the QR code is wrong. Okay. Can you use the number, menti.com, and use the code over there? Probably the QR code is wrong. We didn't test every QR code. That's a lessons learned. Is it a different question for all of you? Or is this the right one? Okay, forget it. So, that's all from my side. Malek, I promised you 50 minutes. Okay, this is my contact details. You can send me an email. You have my name and everything here. I'm ready to answer any question you may have. Any concern, please.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas, for this informative speech. Actually, it was interesting to learn about the AI and GRC together. So, and the integration between them. Actually, regarding the AI and risk as a risk, you mentioned many different types of risks, but I still see some missing risks like the credit risk, liquidity risk, market risk, operational risk, and so on. So, what you mentioned there, so is it the only AI available for, or we can use the AI for whatever type of risk that we have?
I believe it's a rhetorical question. Yes, you can use for every type of risk you may have. And of course, the list of risks it never ends, actually. And every day, you will have new risks that will emerge.
What I mean is, as the regulation, talking about regulation, right? Okay, so as ISO, just covering the type of risk that you mentioned there? So
yes.
As a banking industry,
yes, all of them. All of them. All of them. Yes. Yes. If you read the document, it has a complete list of controls. I just gave you here only the highlights. And the standard also has at the end the implementation guidance for these controls. So you remember the ISO 27001, for example, has the controls, and 27002 has the implementation guidance. In this case, we have both in one document. So it's very useful to go through the whole list of controls and answer your questions.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Based on your experience, what would be the fine line between overfitting and underfitting?
Between?
The overfitting and the underfitting that you mentioned.
Overfitting and underfitting. It's difficult to define a line. It depends on the context. Okay. Statistically speaking, there are some techniques. We have some metrics in every AI system that define the relationship between overfitting and underfitting. For example, we may use the R-square index or the R-square adjusted index, but it depends on the context. I cannot give you a straightforward answer right now. But there are techniques, there are indicators that can show you. Yes, good idea, we needed that. Another question, we have a microphone. Yes?
Do you think the AI is ready to be implemented now? GRC?
Yes. I believe it's ready, yes.
Since it's evolving all the time and new models are...
It always evolves over time. Technology changes every day. But the reason we need to know now the risks and be aware of the risks and apply the controls is because it is the time that we can start using it. Yes. It's not early.
From your point of view, what do you think most, let's say, most skills that GRC employees currently need to develop or to take care in the meantime or in this era? Let's say such as the questions you're giving to us.
Okay. Familiarization with the tools, the existing tools. We had a discussion before we start. So let's talk about an auditor, for example. It would be totally unacceptable for me, for an auditor today, to not be, not an expert, but at least familiar with the AI tools. So I would certainly include AI technology in the weaponry of the auditor, or even the cybersecurity manager. So these kind of skills are very important. And of course, the standard analytical and communication and analysis skills that this person needs to have. So to invest in AI is of paramount importance for me right now. It's not too early. It will be too late in a short period of time. Another question?
Can a cybersecurity GRC take a path to AI GRC as easy a step or hard step? I am working in GRC of cybersecurity. I understand now all the organizations must have AI policies and standards from satellite.
Okay.
So it is easy for me as fresh graduate, have just this 1 year experience in GRC, focus in AI or just cybersecurity?
I would say that you are very lucky, because being fresh graduate, you don't have anchoring to established ideas and approaches. So my answer is that if you start the wrong way, and what is the wrong way? You buy a tool and you try to apply the tool. There are a lot of commercial tools, GRC tools, that in a few months, and already they claim that they use AI. If you try to adjust, to adapt your processes to the tool, this would be a wrong start. The right start is to do the opposite. First, you create your policies. First, you develop the controls, and then you decide about the tool, the technology that you will use. So this way it will be easier. Okay.
But isn't it the other way around? Because the hype of AI has been created so much. Everybody's talking about AI.
This is very easy to do the mistake and be influenced by the herd and follow the wrong direction. You had a question over there? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for this great presentation. And regarding data privacy, how do we address data privacy concern when implementing AI solution in GRC?
Thank you for this question. I will be very honest with you. It's too early to talk about privacy in GRC in the kingdom. Why? Because PDPL is very new. At least to my knowledge, we don't have decisions so far. We don't have cases and decisions from judges regarding violation of privacy, etc. If you take the law itself, it is clear. But you know, laws are created for lawyers. So if we don't have cases and compare and decide what is correct, what is wrong, we cannot answer your question. Let me give you an example. You monitor your user's email, yes or no? Let's say that you monitor it. You violate their privacy? Probably. If we don't have a final decision, you claim that your corporate policy says that email is not to be used for personal reasons. Okay. In Europe, we have decisions that say, even if the employee signs this policy, email is still personal data. You cannot monitor, you cannot block, you cannot read it. GDPR, yes. We don't have similar decisions here yet. Hopefully we will have in the future and we can align ourselves. Yeah, sorry?
Some companies adopt GDPR.
Yes. Some companies follow GDPR, but PDPL is not exactly the same like GDPR. Because a law always takes into consideration the culture, the ethics, and a lot of things. So here is Middle East, it's not Europe. Okay, it's different. Thank you very much.